To save you some time, I went ahead and built this video edit in time to my music. Now I want to treat this entire composition as one element in my final robo-body composition. Again, we'll be covering this a lot more in a future lesson, but all I need to do is find my video edit composition. I'm going to move it up to comps so I can keep track of it. I'm going to drag it down to the bottom of my layer stack so it appears behind everybody. You'll notice that those composition markers that I placed have now come in as layer markers for this layer. That's great. I'll grab that video layer, position it behind the frame, type S to reveal its scale it down a little more tightly inside the frame. That's okay. And let's go ahead and look at it later in time to see how my framing works out. Now the skydiving footage does have a little bit of vignetting going around in these corners, so I want to make sure I don't bring that in. So let's go ahead and cheat it a little bit in that direction. Let's make sure it looks good for the rest of the clips. I wouldn't mind it being a little lower, so let's go ahead and drag it down. Later. A little bit of vignetting issue there. That should work pretty well. Note again, my composition markers came forward, but none of the individual layer markers that I placed on the music soundtrack came forward. And I'd still like to have access to those to time my robotic arm movements. What I can do is simply go back to the video edit comp, select the music layer with all of its markers, copy, go to RoboBody, and paste. And now I've got my music track with all of those individual markers. However, there's something to watch out for. I've got the music in this composition, and I have the music in the prior composition. I don't want two layers of music playing at the same time. They'll add together, they'll be too loud, and they'll be distorted. So I can either turn off the audio switch for that nested composition, or I could go back to that comp, leave the audio on because I still want to preview and edit in context, but take advantage of a nice little feature in After Effects called Layer Guide Layer. A guide layer is only audible or visible inside the current composition. It will not appear further down the chain. So when I go back to RoboBody, I don't even need to worry about the audio switch because it won't carry through to my next composition. Okay, I have the time elements sorted out. I know where my video clips start, and I know where all the important beats of my music are. The next thing I need to worry about are my spatial cues. Where do I want this arm to reach in space? For that, I'm going to create a couple words describing each of these sports. So I'll select my text tool. It automatically opens up the character and paragraph panels. I'll go ahead and left align my text. I'm going to pick a different font, such as one that Adobe supplies with After Effects, like Minion Pro. Place a cursor, start typing. I'll start with a bullet, which you get by holding Option on Mac and then typing 8, space, snowboarding. That's a little bit on the wimpy side. So let's go ahead and massage our type to look good before we create any more of these titles. I think I want it to be a little bit bigger. That looks nicer. Let's see what additional weights I have in this family. Oh, something a little bit heavier like semi-bold, and maybe even something with a little bit of movement to it, like italic might look nice. I've got movement in my video, now I've got movement in my type. And white type is frankly boring. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, if I'm seeing a common color here, I'm seeing the wood of the snowboard, I'm seeing the wood of the skateboard ramps, and of the street circuit. I'm seeing the brown ground underneath. I think I'll pick one of those colors to be my starting off type color. Maybe something like in that range. I can always adjust this later, but this is a good starting point. Now that I've set up my type with my font style or weight, my point size, and my color, any new words I create will all have that styling. I'm going to press Enter to make sure that this line of type is accepted, place my cursor, and start typing another line, such as vertical ramp, street style, another skateboarding type, and down in here, skydiving. I'll press V to return to the selection tool. I can make them in a nice arc like this, or I can have a little bit of fun, go ahead and move them in and out a little bit, like maybe something like this. I want to make sure I stay inside Video Action on Title Safe, so I'll go ahead and toggle on my Title Action Safe grid. Whoops, I've got that word outside of Title Safe. So I'm going to bring it in, get a little bit better spacing that direction. Okay. And finally, for the sake of neatness, maybe I want these evenly spaced. So I'm going to pick out where I want my lowest title to be, maybe this far down. That's my lowest title. I'm going to select all of my other text, and I'm going to take advantage of the Align panel to go ahead and distribute these in space. I'll choose the tool to vertically center their distribution, and now these additional layers will be spread out nicely. If I don't like how that looks, I'll click off, select skydiving, move it a little bit higher, since I think it's a little bit too low there. Select my other layers, distribute again, and that's a better spacing. Okay, I know where I want the arm to move in time. I know where I want the arm to move in space. Finally, let's go animate that arm. That's what we'll do in the next movie.